Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in crypto and bring down to bite-sized pieces. So today, just as the thumbnail suggests, is the mother of all crashing coming in, and that is the theory as proposed by Michael Burry of the Big Short fame. So we'll take a look at why that could potentially be true, and really we're going to dig down into it and just talk about why it's probably not. Also, we'll take a look at what the big hubbub is about Solana going crazy, also the USDC partnership, and we're going to take a look at have an interview with Unstoppable Domain CEO Bradcam, and then also we'll do final thoughts. So today it is Monday. You may notice my voice is a little bit better, just getting over a cold or a flu or something, and yeah, not so bad, just a little bit tired, but here we are. And what a great last week, and even this week, doing pretty good. So it is August 16th, and here's the numbers as they are. So Bitcoin holding out pretty steady. We're looking at, what are we, 45, almost 46. So over 7 days, 6%, pretty good. ETH is down a little bit, and there is Cardano down 4.5%. But look at those runs over 7 days, almost 50%. But that's not the big story. Cardano did great, but there's some other ones that just absolutely blew it up. Look at XRP, 57% for the week. Now it's down 10%, but hey, you know what? XRP's on a tear. Watch out. Dogecoin, it was up massively because Mark Cuban came out and said that it's the ultimate form of payment, which he agreed with the car salesman. And sure, let's see how that works out for him. I have nothing against Dogecoin. I just don't know because it seems like there's just a very limited amount of wallets that hold the vast majority of Dogecoin. And I don't know how many developers are on there, but we'll see how it all works out. If you're a Dogecoin holder, congratulations, you're up. Stablecoins, DOT, and everything else. But look at Solana here, 74% up. And then also, I think there was another big one where we had Luna up 71%. But Solana has just been an absolute tear. And I own both. I own Solana and Luna. And again, I always thank James from Invest Answers and Mike the Investor getting me onto Solana. But 74% in a week. And today, one of the big winners at 20%. So we're going to take a look at potentially why it is and what Solana is all about just real quick. So really want to do is let's just break into today's top story because I was just perusing the news on Twitter and whatnot, and this came up, and I was like, wow, that's kind of negative. So what do we have here? So Michael Burry of Big Short fame, he bets against Cathie Wood's ARK. So when you see something like this, I wanted to bring this out because, in all honesty, this is a FUD article. This could potentially be spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So hopefully by you clicking on this video and that fantastic thumbnail that I made, hopefully you're not here. You're here to get the real inside story, the real scoop, and not just click on it and go, that's FUD, and dislike and unsubscribe and da-da-da. Because on this channel, look, I'm not here to be super positive all the time. I'm here to be a realist. And when I see stuff like this, if it concerns me enough to stop and pay attention, I think it might concern other people. So I want to talk about this article and just bring it to light. Because if we don't talk about the FUD articles and just kind of push them to the side, and then we only talk about the good stuff, what happens is that all the newbies that get into it don't understand everything. They're like, oh, this is awful, I got to get out of here, and da-da-da. And before you know it, we got a mass exodus. So let's just talk about this story, shall we? All right. So Michael Burry's Scion Asset Management owned bearish put contracts against 235,000 plus shares of the ARK Innovation ETF, ticker ARK. The Innovation ETF, all about cryptocurrencies and stuff, at the end of the second quarter. The new position was valued at almost $31 million. That's pretty good. And Burry has been warning about unsustainable valuations in the market for months. In June, he cautioned that retail investors could be getting drawn into the mother of all crashes by investing in cryptocurrencies and meme stocks. And I got to tip my hat to him. Great timing, because he kind of called it, because after that, there was a pretty big pullback. And we saw Bitcoin, around April or May or something like that, go from 64,000 down to 30, 29, 28,000. So yeah, that was a pretty big crash. But he is still going even further. A put contract gives Scion the right to sell shares in the ETF before a certain date. and a previously agreed price. Value increases if shares drop below the threshold. The exact terms of the puts and when they were purchased are undisclosed. So I want to make something very abundantly clear here. So for these put options, he doesn't have to exercise those rights. It's not like shorting a stock where you actually sell those things first. He has the option to not exercise that right. Now he will owe a little bit to get that contract out, but he doesn't have to exercise it whatsoever. So when we take a look at these put and options and things like that, just know that, take it with a grain of salt, because that's just a pretty big bet. And really there is massive upside if he is correct. I don't think he's going to be correct, but and I'll tell you why in a second, but he does not have to exercise these, and that's the whole thing with these types of puts or put contracts. And then the big thing here is the exact time of the puts and when they were purchased are undisclosed. Burry has been indirectly betting against Wood for some time via a big position against Tesla, one of ARK's top picks and biggest holdings. So here's the thing. So when we take a look at all these stuff and we go, well, that's pretty awful. But you have to understand that these puts, I mean, they could be, there is no real, it doesn't say the time frame. There's no actual definitive information about when those can be exercised or not. So it can go on for a very long time, and it could happen. I mean, we could see quite a bit of a big pullback or retracement, because that's pretty much what happens in crypto, and Michael knows that. It's not like it's going to happen tomorrow. It's not like it's going to happen next week or whenever else. So just take it with a grain of salt. And also, there's another thing I want to talk about. Michael Burry is famous for the Big Short, for the 2008 crash, as far as like for all of the different housing markets that just decimated the global economy essentially for quite a long time. And that was one way to play it. It was a pretty good, he shorted the market, worked out pretty well. But there was another way to play it. And I had a friend here. His name is David, and he had a great theory, which was he was just going to wait for all the houses to drop precipitously and then pick them up. So what he did was, I know when we talk on this channel about cryptocurrency and how people think that cash is trash. Cash isn't really trash. Cash in this situation was king, because what he did was he let the price valuation of all those houses and all those units and all those commercial properties drop 50, 60, 70%. And when they were down, you have like a $200,000 house go to like $60,000. He scooped up a bunch, and he is a multi-millionaire back then, and now he is like way beyond that. And all he did was just pick them up, and then in a year, 2 years later, he sold them for a massive profit. And some he didn't, some he sold, and some he just held on to and actually just rented them out. And now he doesn't really have to do much of anything. He was already a millionaire, so it really didn't matter. So again, when you take a look at these stories, don't look at it like, oh, this is happening tomorrow, or this is going to happen next week. Burry knows that this is really the long game, and he could be right later on. We're all waiting. Even if you have the theory of elongated cycles, like maybe you don't think that it's going to, the whole bull market's going to end right on December 31st. Maybe it could go in January, February, March, where we see that big hockey stick. When that happens, maybe exercise them at that point. So I just want to bring this to everybody's attention. And when we talk about FUD stories, it's not like it's the end of the world. All right, so let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Now let's get into Solana and why this thing is just going crazy. So Solana, I was checking their Twitter feed, and I have to tell you, I've been dollar cost averaging Solana for months now, and it's like one of the best ones I've done so far. And then Solana, this was 3 or 4 days ago, and it talks about Solend is here. Solana is now live on Solana mainnet at solend.fi. So I took a look at this real quick, and this is the autonomous interest rate machine for Solana. But just so you know, total assets supplied 5.2 million, total assets borrowed 1.4 million. So this is a very early stage. And Solana hasn't been around for a whole heck of a lot of time. Actually, if we take a look at this and bring this up, let me blow this up here so you can see it. If we take a look at, let's scroll down and go to all time, or let's go max. Yeah. So look at this. Back in the day, April 2020, I mean, they're looking at the very beginning, because it was 95 cents. Jeez Louise. and just didn't do much of anything for quite some time. But in only, gosh, a year plus some change, they are making massive headway, and they're in the top 10 already. And they already have DeFi, it looks like it. Looks like they have massive partnerships, and it looks like they're doing the right thing. So Solana is just one of those things that's just been blowing up. So, but why? Why is this one going through? So it could be something like this, or Solend. I don't really think so. But also, you've got these things called quick nodes. Boost your Solana endpoint in seconds, not days. We make it simple to power your blockchain applications and scale up as you grow. And it's from Ian. He says, quick nodes are super easy to set up with just one line of code. They provide support for multiple chains and make it easy to scale as our usage increases. And there's a pricing thing down here. So maybe something like that. That looks like a pretty big win for Solana. And then also you have to remember that Solana, they've also got a nice little coupling with USDC. And this was actually from Jeremy Allaire. He is the head of Circle, which are the ones that created USDC, which I am a big fan of myself. And he says, this was just, gosh, what is it, 3 days ago or so? No, August 10th, excuse me. So we're looking at roughly 6 days ago. And he says, hey, huge shout out to Solana team, now with 1 billion USDC in circulation. And people are just building on Solana, and massive things are going. So I always see like these big projects doing really good things. Big projects that are partnering up with USDC, because I think this stablecoin essentially is going to do very well. So, I mean, Circle partnership with Visa already. And then, of course, Circle is also, we just covered this a couple days ago, where they're trying to become a national digital currency, full reserve bank, not fractional reserve, but a full reserve bank and everything else in there. So, I mean, that's huge. And then this is from the Circle blog post. And this is what I found most interesting. I think if you're going to really get into mass adoption, I think Solana kind of hits it on the head, because you want something easy, and you want something cheap, and you want something fast. Well, Solana supports more than 50,000 transactions per second. Let me say it again. 50,000 TPS per second. I think Bitcoin does 9 to 13. I think Ethereum does around 45 TPS. And I mean, these are the legacy systems. I mean, now with ETH 2.0 coming around, maybe it definitely will hopefully scale up. But when? How long is that going to take? I don't know. But it says 50K TPS with block production and settlement finality in 400 microseconds, and extremely low transaction fees of a fraction of a cent. Let that sink in. A fraction of a cent. Wouldn't that be nice to not have to transfer Ethereum and things that are being built, because everything's being built on Ethereum, but you only use a fraction of a cent. And these are the things that are coming. That's why I hold a lot of Ethereum, but I have to tell you, I'm not sure how much it can maintain that top spot. There's always somebody behind you who wants to do it. And then there was this great video here. I'm not going to play it, but this is Anatoly Yakovenko, founder and CEO of Solana, and he just talks about how easy it was to actually partner up with USDC, and how it actually all worked out, and how they were like actual innovators. So when I take a look at this, I just think to myself, I think Solana is just doing the right things, and they're doing the right things at the right time, and they're just massively scaling up by just grabbing in partners and doing a lot of great things. And I think this could be a massive, big project, and maybe a top 5, but who knows? So that is what is going on with Solana and USDC and everything else. Now what I want to talk about real quick is, because if we look at the good projects that are partnering up with these stable coins, we covered this a couple of weeks ago when I was in Puerto Rico, actually, how Unstoppable Domains, they actually partnered up with them. So you can actually, instead of, here, I'll just show you this graphic. It's a lot easier to show you this. Instead of you, someone asking you, hey, can I send you USDC or send you crypto? Yeah, just send it to 0x535-7TI3541. Like, what the heck was that? So you can just go over to Unstoppable Domains and purchase your name, joeblow.coin, and then they can send you USDC. It's pretty simple. And I just look at these things and I'm like, these are the things that'll lead to mass adoption. I want it cheap. I want it fast, and I don't care about what's going on underneath the hood. Just make sure it gets me there. And I think that's where we're at. So what I want to do is I wanted to bring in one of the founders of Unstoppable Domains, Brad Cam. I want to talk to him about if this is true, what the CEO of Solana said about how easy it is to actually partner up and work with Circle and USDC, and what's going on with Unstoppable Domains. So let's just jump right in. one of the founders of Unstoppable Domains, Brad Cam, just to talk to him, just ask him some questions about, is it really that easy to work with Circle and getting USDC integration, and how tough was that, and what's the plans for the future? So Brad, thanks again for coming on and taking time to talk to us on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, man. So just talk to us. I mean, first of all, you guys are crushing it out there. You guys doing everything you're supposed to do as far as a business and getting things going. But talk to us about how it led up to you guys actually talking with Circle, this multi-billion-dollar company, and going, hey, let's integrate USDC into a domain and NFT as far as like .coin.
So I've been following Circle, the company, for quite a long time, and right now, they're essentially a B2B company. So they're providing services for other crypto companies.
Right.
But at one point, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they were trying to build a consumer app, and the whole idea was to abstract the crypto parts away, make it super duper easy for people to just send digital dollars or whatever currency they wanted to anyone in the world. Super easy, like a decentralized Venmo. I knew they had been big believers in this vision for many, many years, but they'd gone a slightly different direction with the business. So they were just kind of a obvious fit because they're sort of in a similar place as we are, actually, trying to integrate their tech, in this case USDC, into all these different crypto wallets and exchanges.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And how easy was it to actually work with them? Because it seems like some companies, it's like trying to pull teeth with getting things done. And other companies are like, hey, let's just go forward. Here's what you need. Let us know, and then off we go.
Super easy. They're hustlers. They're moving fast right now, and you can just see this from looking at the USDC market cap over the past year or two. Like, it's just going like this. So
yeah, great. Yeah, that's what we need, because I mean, it seems like every day things change so fast. And then was this, as far as like stable coins go, was this like the big one that for you guys to get, or has any other stable coins reached out, like a Tether or something like that?
Well, so in terms of the way that Unstoppable Domains works, like you can attach any cryptocurrency
right
to any domain name that you want. It's really a question of like who is being encouraged to use it. So USDC is the only stablecoin partner we have currently. But the whole idea there is to get people who would be integrated both with Circle and with Unstoppable Domains to be using .coin for their USDC payments by default. Like, have the addresses just automatically assigned whenever you get a domain name inside of whatever app you're using. Make it like so easy that all you really need to do is just start telling me what your username is, and it works.
Yeah, man, that's perfect. And that's what I'm talking about here with this one. Because when we take a look at it, like for everybody who sells online, you're usually going to use like a PayPal or a Stripe, and you're looking at between 1.99% or 2.99% plus 30 cents per transaction fee. So if you have something like this, like Brad, like what you're just talking about, just like what you guys do perfectly, you get a domain, you set it up, and all of a sudden you have this .coin. Your first name, your last name, your first, whatever else it is, it just makes it very seamless. And that's what I like about this, because if we're looking for mass adoption, we have to do these things. No one's going to say, hey, what's your address? Oh, it's 0x53572589999, whatever else. I think it's just best just to go joesmith.coin, and that's it.
And something that's been pretty smart that Circle is focused on, that I think you've already highlighted recently with the $1 billion of USDC on Solana, is that they've been blockchain agnostic in terms of where the USDC is actually living. And so what winds up happening for the user is that you can have your app just say, hey, what's the cheapest place to send USDC right now? Okay, I'm going to send using this one. And that is, I mean, that's awesome. Like, I mean, if you think about it from the user experience perspective, like, do they really care if it's this blockchain or that blockchain? They probably care a lot more about fees. That's like the thing they care about. And if it's USDC on all these different chains, so that's another thing that Circle's focused on. That's been I would say, quite important from a user experience perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's almost like using a hotels.com. I don't care. I mean, I care kind of where I stay, but I want to make sure it's cheap and good. And if I can do both those things and just shop around, yeah, it makes sense. Perfect. All right. And then Brad, finally, anything else that's going on? Because you guys are always innovating. There's always some things going on. So anything else that's new over there at Unstoppable Domains? I know there was a cake integration.
Yeah. So yeah, Cake Wallet sending Monero. So that's a a top Monero wallet, and you can send a private payment to a public name. So that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool idea. It's something that you can't get currently with networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's something that's kind of missing, so to speak, from the feature set that the private currencies can solve. So I think that's a pretty cool use case. That's much closer to how my Venmo settings work. I set mine to private. I'm not publishing them to the world. So I think that's a reasonable choice.
Yeah, makes sense. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. All right. Sounds pretty good. All right. Well, Brad, I appreciate it. I know that your time is valuable. You got a lot of things to do. So everybody, if you're looking for that, this is not financial advice, just financial opinion. But if it's me, I'd like to get at least my name as far as like for .coin or .crypto or .zo, whatever else you want, because in the future it might be a little bit easier to use. Links in the description. That's it. Brad, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it, and we'll reach out to see as things progress. Thanks. All right, so that's it. So I hope that answered a lot of questions. Brad, thanks for coming on again. I appreciate it, because when I look at these things, I just want to see how companies execute, and I want to see how the actual product gets out there and how people are partnering up. And I think in the future, what we're going to see is all these different projects that can't survive by themselves. And I think they're going to start doing mergers and acquisitions. And I think the more businesses and projects that actually start to work together and intermingle, I think are the ones that have a better chance of success, like Circle, Unstoppable Domains, and Solana. So that's what's going on for today. So look, I know it was a little bit long, a lot of things going on, but if you made it all the way in, first, thanks. I appreciate it. Also, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. That always helps tremendously. Consider subscribing. A lot of things we talked about are time sensitive. And that's it for today. And I have not forgotten about that Puerto Rico video. I think I'm going to do a double one today. I'm feeling pretty good, except my voice sucks. But I want to do that real quick and just talk to you about who my lawyer was, who the agent was, and my experiences, and just do like a two-parter. So I'll do that later, maybe today, and I'll put it out. So that's it for this one. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.